Welcome to the Kaput Centre, and it is my pleasure to introduce to you two distinguished speakers today. We have two speakers, Dr. Robert Goldstone and Dr. Richard Lesh from Indiana University. This is the third lecture in the Interdisciplinary Colloquium series for the Kaput Centre this year. I just want to give you background for both of the speakers. So first to Dr. Robert Goldstone. Since 1991, when he received a PhD in psychology from the University of Michigan, Robert Goldstone has been a professor in the Psychological and Brain Sciences Department and Cognitive Science program at Indiana University. His research interests include concept learning and representation, perceptual learning, collective behavior, and computational modeling of human cognition. Professor Goldstone was awarded 2 American Psychological Association Young Investigator Awards in 1995 for articles appearing in the Journal of Experimental Psychology, the 1996 Chase Memorial Award for Outstanding Young Researcher in Cognitive Science, a 1997 James McKean-Cattell Sabbatical Award, and the 2000 APA Distinguished Scientific Award for Early Career Contribution to Psychology in the area of cognition and human learning. And finally, in 2004, Troland Research Award from the National Academy of Sciences. Obviously a very well-known and distinguished scholar, and it is my privilege to welcome him here to the Kaput Centre as part of an interdisciplinary and growing program that's focused across a wide variety of areas. Dr. Richard Lesh. Dick is a Rudy Professor of Education and Learning Sciences at Indiana University as well. Professor Lesh is currently developing a virtual lab school at Indiana University that will be used to link students and scholars with children in schools throughout Indiana. Professor Lesh's main academic interests include research on learning and problem solving in mathematics education, mathematical models and modeling, mathematics teacher education, and computer-based curriculum development for children or adults. Professor Lesh also does research design and assessment design in mathematics and science education. I have known Dick for many years. He has been when I had a personal note here of introducing Dick, he has been a mentor and a very good friend for many years. He was also Jim Kaput's best friend, so it is also very special and noteworthy for Dick to be here in the centre today with Rob to talk about some, I think, cutting edge and very extremely important ideas. Dick keeps promising that he's going to enter into retirement, and I don't believe him. But if he is, I'm privileged that we are here for him to impart his wisdom and direction on the field, not just here in the centre, but for people around the world. So I wanted to add a personal thank you to Dick for being here, and gratitude for all that he's done for me and many other young and not so young colleagues in the field today. Thank you, Dick. So I'm going to hand it over. Thank you for all being here. They're going to spend the time I hear in an informal fashion. So if you wish to ask questions, they are happy to interact. There is no need to wait until they stop speaking. So I'm not going to convene, let it be open to the floor. We might have some questions from folks online who can submit their questions through Meebo. Is that up and running?
Not Meebo, but
there's something online. So hopefully welcome the people around the world who are tuning in. And welcome. So I pass it over to Rob and Dick, where brain meets education. I don't know how that might work, but over to you.
Great. Well, I'm really pleased to be here to talk about math and science education. Here is something like bringing coal to Newcastle. Or Southampton? One of them. Yeah. So you all know much more about math and science education than I do, but I'm also pleased to be here for an excuse to meet with Dr. Richard Lesh, who, although this is an all-Hoosier event today, I don't see enough of Dick. He's always out gallivanting around. So even though I'm only 3 blocks away from him in Bloomington, Indiana, this is probably the best chance I have to see him. So I'd like to talk today about an approach towards understanding science and math education and how we learn about math and science. Here are my many collaborators at Indiana University and Northwestern University. And I'd like to begin by putting my cards on the table. I will be trying to argue that we should be taking advantage of the millions of years of research and development that Mother Nature, or evolution, if you will, has put into developing our quite elaborate perceptual systems. So fully 75% of our cortex is built around either perception or action. And so perhaps it makes sense to take advantage of that huge investment in our brain, in perception and action, in trying to deploy it towards helping people understand more abstract, difficult concepts. And in that general area, I'll be particularly interested in transfer of knowledge, transfer of learning, which is a challenging point for a perception, action-grounded approach to learning. It's challenging because how do you hope to have transfer across situations that look very different from each other if you're using perception action in order to understand the learning that's going on? And transfer is both hard and crucial. It's hard to live with, it's hard to live without. One example of this comes to us from David Perkins, and this is something that I think all science teachers can identify with. Perkins reports a physics teacher who is giving students these tower problems, which is to calculate how long will it take this red ball to fall to the bottom of this tower, given the gravitational constant and given how long the tower is. All well and good, they can come to solve those. And then lo and behold, during the test time, they're given problems like this. And the students, naturally, will complain. And they say, what? You didn't give us any well problems on the study, you only gave us tower problems. Classic problem with transfer. People oftentimes fail to make the leap between things that the expert physicist or the physics teacher obviously sees as related. On the other hand, transferring knowledge is crucial, simply because we can't teach every specific application of a principle. When a biology teacher teaches her students about smooth peas and round peas and wrinkled peas, she wants them to understand not just what pea plants look like, but fundamental principles of heredity. Dominant, recessive alleles, for example, that will transfer from peas to humans, to snails, to walruses. Right? Unifications in science are very important. If you look at what actual working scientists do, oftentimes what they are doing is transferring their knowledge. Darwin argues that there's fundamental similarities between the principles by which snails evolve and humans evolve, and chimpanzees as well. Einstein argues that there's fundamental similarities between acceleration, be it gravitational or be it electromagnetic. And Shepard applied these same principles to understanding transfer itself, and saying that there's fundamental principles of learning that apply across species, across domains, across stimulus sets. Okay, so one of the reasons why we want transfer is because it's simply a fact of nature that systems that look different are often governed by the same deep principles. Okay, so our solution to this is down there at the edge of the screen there, which is going to be to try to systematically try to train people's perceptual systems so that they will spontaneously do the right thing. And specifying that will be what I'd like to pitch for you. But to get there, I want to flesh out this point a little bit more, that it's a very powerful way to